Hello, Hassan from Mass Reviews here, and, well, why don't we get started? So, today we are reviewing a interesting film. Because this is what I consider to be a film that's got a cult following. Very much a cult following. I mean, if you've seen the people who defend this film, and the franchise in general, you'll see what I mean. And I don't think this review is going to be anything as perfect as some others who have done this. I think many of you can probably guess the obvious one, but I still think I can give it a little look. I mean, I can talk about it. So, Alpha and Omega. What more can I say? I mean, so this film was produced by Richard Rich, who for fans of animation will know as an animation director who has made some interesting anime movies. Beginning off as a person working in the mailroom at Disney, he would end up going up the ranks high, obviously with the departures of Don Bluth from the Nine Old Men. He would end up directing The Fox and the Hound, and which was a good start for his directorial career, and would direct The Black Cauldron. He would then leave after that, after he got replaced as the director of Oliver and Company, and create his own animation studio, releasing his own animated films, which before this were The Swan Princess, The Animated King and I, Muhammad the Last Prophet, and The Trumpet of the Swan. Many of those films are known to be cult hits in their own ways, or bad bombs in certain others, like Trumpet of the Swan and The Animated King and I. I don't know what the Muhammad movie is like, honestly. I really don't know. I would like to see a few more reviews, of course. But, yeah. I have seen The Swan Princess, and I have seen bits and pieces of The Black Cauldron. With that said, The Swan Princess, it's okay, but there are other options of animated studios copying the Disney formula, and well, I can't get a full opinion until I finish watching Black Cauldron. Fox and the Hound I enjoy for what it is, but Alpha and Omega. Why don't we get started? So the premise is we have two young adult wolves, the Alpha Kate and the Omega Humphrey. Kate is also the daughter of the leader of her pack, of their pack, and well, now Humphrey has had a crush on Kate for ever since they were kids, and well, his crush has grown even stronger now they're adults, well, young adults. So, but Kate has to be has to marry the leader of a rival pack so the two packs can join together because of a food shortage in where they live, in Jasper National Park in Canada. But Kate's not too impressed with the other pack's leader's son, because his howl isn't that good. So when Humphrey starts teasing her about it, they both get tranquilized and end up being shipped away to another nature reserve in Idaho, where they meet a duck and a goose, a golf-obsessed duck and goose, who tell them that they were relocated to repopulate, intriguing Humphrey but disturbing Kate. So the two must find a way to get back to Jasper before the specific date comes where the two packs could go to war without the union between Kate and the other leader's pack, leader's son, whatever. Which And along the way, they'll encounter, Kane and Humphrey will encounter humans, landslides, bears, avalanches, yeah, you name it, caribou. So yeah, so basically you got two sides of the story. You've got they're trying to come back home from, you got the Romeo and Juliet side, and they're trying to return home in the attempt to come back home story. Staples in animated films, yes, but these two can work together. Obviously the main thing being Rio, though even I'm not a big fan of Rio. And of course, in the Romeo and Juliet story, I mean, yeah, you've seen it too so many times. I mean, Lion King 2 seems probably my obvious one I can say off heart. But yeah, this story isn't really that perfect. I'll give credit that the voice actors do at least try to help with this story and the dialogue in it. But which I will talk about later, the voice cast. But yeah, this isn't really that perfect. The story is very bland, and yeah. There are also, it doesn't help that the ending I am not a big fan of. It's honestly my least, one of my worst endings I've seen in an anime movie, perhaps, or definitely in there, in my view. And the pacing can be very choppy, to say at least. I mean, we do have to see what's going on in we're back in Jasper to see how close the two packs are going to go to war. But I don't know, I don't know, there's just some things I don't feel like, I want to look into that. Further, in fact, there's some scriptural and errors, combined with the animation errors, which I will get to later. And, well, there is another part, and the characters themselves, I mean, Kane Humphrey for main leads are fine. Again, I'll talk about it later. But it's the side characters that, I don't care. Kate's sister, who was actually an Omega, even though the rest of her family are all Alphas, confusing, again, scriptural errors. She's not too bad. The other wolves aren't really that good. Kate's mom in particular is probably the worst character in this, with her death threats and that. Among her dialogue, oh god. And I mean, the duck and the goose are pretty good. Yeah, they're not bad. Then of course we have the animation. Okay, so it's not the best animation. It's not that perfect. It's probably more straight to video caliber. But considering this is the first time the studio's done computer animation, I guess it's possible. But you're releasing in theaters, and it came out 2010, so same year as Toy Story 3, How to Train Your Dragon, Tangled, Legend of the Guardians. That's probably another film I need to one day look into doing. I reviewed Happy Feet years ago, so I might as well do that next. Yeah, but some other time. Yeah. But yeah, this animation is lackluster, and as I said, the animation errors in this are notable. I mean, especially when you look at the designs of certain characters and all that, and I wouldn't say there's clipping in this too much. It's not as much as I recall, but just textures and that. I don't know. It's just can't really pinpoint any specific locations. But the physics in this world, oh my gosh, some of the stuff that these animals do in this, like in specific moments of conflict or action, I should say, like when Humphrey's chasing after the duck and goose to find out where they were shipped to. That is one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in animation. Oh my gosh, and even some of the other stuff, the logs and as I said, the avalanches, geez, there's some, but yeah, that chase scene is probably the weirdest of all, considering how long it goes for. And then, of course, among the other stuff that that's probably the worst thing, are the sexual innuendos. There are a ton, sorry, there are a ton in this. My gosh, I don't know if this is meant to be emulating something from the Discovery, from Animal Planet, whatever. I don't. But jeez, these wolves. I mean, especially when they go to the howling area. Oh my god. And some of the other stuff. I mean, there's a scene where Kate ends up accidentally dressed in some human clothes, human women's clothes, and I'm like, oh my god, really? Okay. There's some other stuff too. I mean, the scene where Kate and Humphrey get tranquilized, I can give that a bit of an excuse just because they've been, drugged, but yeah, still. Oh my gosh, if I was to show clips of this, I would probably get demonetized, or I don't know. I think people need to rewatch this. I mean, I can honestly say that this deserved its PG rating here in Australia, and I can say there are a lot of anime movies in there that have been released here that I disagree with the rating. This deserves it by far. I would say these sexual innuendos are as bad as Food Fight. Yep, I said that. But is there any things I can say? Well, I might as well get on to the voice cast. I honestly think the voice acting is not bad in this. Justin Long as Humphrey and Hayden Panettiere as Kate are pretty good for what they do there. They're good actors, and I like hearing them in these roles. They just fit. Danny Glover as Kate's father is alright again, but he does well for what he's got. He's got a good voice in this. Very anything, I'm going to much rather watch his voice acting roles in Ants and the Prince of Egypt more than I will, and enjoy them more than enjoy this. Dennis Hopper in his final film voices the rival Wolfpack's leader, and he's probably the weakest in this, to be fair. Not the best way you could go out on, but no, you can't speak ill of the dead. You decide what you want to do. But, he, again, does well enough. The best was actually Christina Ricci as Kate's sister. This is actually probably one of my favourite performances from her. I'm always going to say that her performance as Wednesday Addams in Barry Sonnenfeld's Adam Sandler movies and Terror and Justice League: The Jews Contract are her better performances in my view. But this is actually pretty close. She did really well with this. I buy it pretty well. I really do enjoy Christina Ricci in this. She's pretty good. The music in this is weak, isn't all perfect, but there are some good score, instrumental scores in this that ain't too bad. I can't remember the pop songs. That's not the actual songs they use in this, but yeah, some of the music is not bad, especially with Kate and Humphrey going through nature and all that. That's pretty good. And as for the relationship between the main leads, honestly, I don't mind it. I actually think it's okay. I buy these two friends who who were close when they were young, haven't seen each other for years, and while one is trying to engage in a conversation with her like with the other in the old days, it's just not that difficult because of the other's responsibilities. And when they learn that they're supposed to be married to someone else, that being a bit of a joke, making fun of the guy, of the fiance, so to say, but well, whatever the word is for a girl's husband to be, but yeah, but eventually they get shipped off to end up on eventually get back home and probably spend the most amount of time talking to each other in a less insulting way. I mean, okay, contrived and formulaic, but Honestly, I like it. I really do. In fact, going forward, with the sequels I have seen of this, I haven't seen them all. Just saying. So if you're gonna say, oh, why would you watch the sequels? I haven't seen them all. I haven't seen them all. For what I have seen, their relationship has grown, especially with them having kids in the sequels. Which I can talk about the kids at a different point if I do review one of them. And their names. Jeez, there will be something. Jeez, I've got a lot to say about that. But again, I'm only reviewing the first movie, and the kids aren't in the first movie. There was a deleted scene that implied that the kids might have been born at the time. But I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about it. Sorry. But yeah, I buy the relationship here. I buy in the sequels. It's okay. So yeah, this is a bad movie. It's gonna get a low score for me, and I don't recommend that many people check it out unless you want to, kill time and share a few, let your kids watch it, while you've got something to do. I can get that, but just first watch it and see if the sexual innuendos will hurt them, will hurt their eyes, I should say, because again, I'm not so sure how people would react, how parents would react to it. But for me, my score is actually a 4.5 out of 10 has stars. I know that's almost close. That's almost a pass. I actually find this a guilty pleasure. I don't know why. I don't hate it. I don't think it's good. But again, this is like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Jesus, second time I've brought this up on a movie starring Dennis Hopper. I just don't mind it. I find it okay. I can watch it. I can enjoy certain areas, and I can skip over the stuff I don't. Okay, in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I just watched it all the way through, and I can just enjoy it. But with this, there's enough for me to give it to just say I like it. I don't hate it, and I don't think it's a masterpiece. I just don't mind it. I like it. It's okay. It's an okay movie to me, but again, an okay to a lot of people out there. There's a huge following for this franchise, and I can't say the same for the sequels I have seen. I mean, as far as I know, there was only two really good ones of the sequels. In fact, they're even better than this, but I'm not bringing them up. Again, I haven't seen all of them. I'm not pointing out which ones I have. But yeah, for what it is, I don't mind Alpha and Omega. I'm okay with it. But again, a lot of people don't like it. I can't say I'm in the massive following this film and its franchise have, but yeah, probably on the fence. See on the fence around it. So yeah, Alpha and Omega, I'm okay with it. I don't think it's good, but yeah, I still recommend parents and anyone over the age of 11 onwards should just watch it and make sure they're okay with some of the sexual innuendos, and I can even throw in the death threats that Kate's mother throw. Yeah, well, with what she says out of her mouth, I guess. So yeah, Alpha and Omega, that's why I give it 4.5 out of 10 stars. So what's next? If anything, I might get a review done of a film in theaters. I'm saying I might because there is I know what it's going to be. The question is whether I can get to it in time, because I'm starting a new roster at work, and obviously next week there will be a day where I can't go to the movies because of recent announcements with a one-off public holiday. I'm not going to go into it. If you're in Australia, you know what I mean. If not, just look up on the phone. Just think of who recently passed away around the world, and you'll figure out what it means, what I'm referring to. But in the meantime, this is Hazza from Hazza Reviews out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao!